The story of the Anunnaki, uncovering ancient mysteries, mindset shifts, and timeless truths. The mystery in the stars. Imagine looking up at the night sky, surrounded by the silence of the cosmos. You see the constellations, the twinkling lights of distant stars, and you wonder, how long have humans stared at this same sky? Thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations did the same, crafting myths and stories to explain the mysteries above. But what if some of those myths weren't just stories? What if they were memories? Fragments of encounters with beings far beyond our understanding. In 1849, archaeologists uncovered something extraordinary in the ruins of ancient Mesopotamia. Clay tablets inscribed with stories that predate even the Bible. These texts, known as the Sumerian King List and the Enuma Elish, tell of a race of advanced beings called the Anunnaki. The name means those who came from the heavens to earth. Were they gods? Were they extraterrestrials? Or were they something else entirely? Today, we're diving deep into the story of the Anunnaki, exploring how it ties into philosophy, psychology, conspiracy theories, and even spirituality. And most importantly, we'll uncover the lessons this ancient tale can teach us about improving our mindsets and finding purpose in our lives. Before we get started, what's up? My name's Nick Jackson, and my channel is here to give you insights on philosophy, psychology, conspiracy, and spirituality. If any of those things are interesting to you, subscribe to my channel and make sure you like this video to help push me forward in the algorithm. If you have a thought on anything from the video, start a conversation in the comments below. The story of the Anunnaki begins in ancient Sumer, one of the earliest civilizations in history. According to Sumerian mythology, the Anunnaki descended to Earth from the heavens. They were described as powerful beings with advanced knowledge and technology. The Enuma Elish, one of the oldest known creation myths, describes how the Anunnaki played a role in shaping humanity. Here's where it gets interesting. Some interpretations suggest that the Anunnaki weren't just mythical figures, but extraterrestrial visitors. Zecharia Sitchin, a controversial researcher and author, proposed that these beings came from a distant planet called Nibiru. He believed they genetically engineered humans to serve as workers, mining resources like gold for their own survival. Now, whether or not you believe this, the story of the Anunnaki raises a profound question. What if our origins are more complex than we think? As Carl Sagan once said, somewhere something incredible is waiting to be known. Why are stories like the Anunnaki so captivating? It's because they tap into a universal human desire, the need to understand where we come from. Psychologically, creation myths give us a framework for meaning. They help us make sense of the unknown and connect us to something greater than ourselves. But here's the twist. These stories also reveal how easily our minds can be shaped by narratives. Think about it. Whether it's the Anunnaki, religious texts, or modern-day conspiracies, the stories we believe influence how we see the world and ourselves. A study from Harvard University found that people are 22% more likely to remember information presented as story rather than as raw data. Why? Because stories activate both logical and emotional parts of the brain, creating a deeper connection. This is why it's so important to be mindful of the narratives you allow in your mind. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Anunnaki story is the idea that humans were created to serve. If that's true, what does it say about our purpose? Are we cogs in a cosmic machine, or is there more to our existence? This question ties into a classic philosophical debate. Are humans inherently free, or are we bound by invisible chains? Jean-Paul Sartre famously said, "Man is condemned to be free." In other words, even if we're given a framework, whether by gods, aliens, or society, it's up to us to define our own meaning and purpose. So even if the Anunnaki story were true, the real question is, what do you do with the life you've been given? Do you let external forces dictate your path, or do you take control and create your own destiny? Here's where things get even deeper. Some researchers believe that knowledge of the Anunnaki has been intentionally suppressed. They point to ancient artifacts, unexplainable technological advancements, and texts that were conveniently lost or excluded from mainstream history. Think about this. How did civilizations like the Sumerians, Egyptians, and Mayans achieve such advanced understanding of astronomy, engineering, and mathematics without modern tools? Is it possible they were guided by something or someone? It's said that knowledge is power, and throughout history, those in power have often controlled access to information. The question isn't whether the Anunnaki existed, but why stories like these are dismissed as myths. What truths are we not being told? And how does this affect the way we think about ourselves and our potential? Whether you interpret the Anunnaki as literal beings or symbolic representations, their story reminds us of our deep connection to the cosmos. Ancient civilizations believed that humanity was tied to the stars, that we are both earthly and divine. In today's world, we've lost much of that spiritual connection. We're consumed by technology, distractions, and materialism. But as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, we are stardust brought to life, then empowered by the universe to figure itself out. This isn't just poetic, it's scientifically true. The very elements of your body were forged in the heart of an exploding star. The story of the Anunnaki challenges us to reconnect with that cosmic perspective, to see ourselves as part of something infinitely greater. So what can we learn from the Anunnaki? Whether they were gods, aliens, or metaphors, their stories teach us the power of creation, not just in the physical sense, but in the way we shape our own lives. Too often we let external forces, whether it's society, circumstances, or limiting beliefs, control our narrative. But as Viktor Frankl said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. The Anunnaki story, like all great myths, invites us to question, to imagine, and to create. It's a reminder that you have the power to shape your mindset. At the end of the day, the story of the Anunnaki is less about aliens and more about us. It's a mirror reflecting our fears, our hopes, and our endless curiosity. Whether or not it's true, it inspires us to ask bigger questions and seek deeper truths. As you go about your life, remember this. The greatest conspiracy isn't what's hidden from us, it's the untapped potential within us. Don't wait for answers to fall from the sky. Go out and create your own story. As always, thanks for watching. Value learning, keep growing, and success will come. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone who loves exploring mysteries into philosophy and the cosmos, and let's start a conversation in the comments down below. See you in the next video. Peace.